Hello and welcome to our topic for this video on MathBox Senior High School for General Mathematics, and we are now in quarter 1, week 4B. Our goal in this learning activity sheet is for the learner to determine the inverse of a one-to-one function. So we have to go over the generalizations. For the generalization, we have definition. Let f be a one-to-one function with domain A and range B. Then the inverse of the function f, denoted by f inverse, is a function with domain B and range A, defined by f inverse of y equals x if and only if function of x equals y for every y in the range B. Take note that if two functions f and its inverse f inverse are inverses of each other, then their domain and range are interchanging. Let's see. A function has an inverse if and only if it is a one-to-one function. Now here are the steps to find a one-to-one function. Step 1, you have to write the function in the form y equals f of x. Then step 2, interchange the x and the y variables. And next step, solve for y in terms of x. And the last step, write f inverse of x instead of writing y. Now, example 1 is done for you here. Let's examine example 1. Find the inverse of f of x equals x plus 5. So we have to transform this to the form y equals x plus 5. Then interchange the variable x and y. So in this case, this is y here, so you make it x. Then instead of writing x, you have to make it y. Then step 3, you have from step 2, we have to isolate y. So this becomes x minus 5. And finally, instead of writing y, we have to write f inverse of x. And this is now the inverse of the given function x plus 5, which is equal to x minus 5. Okay, we're done with example 1. Example 2 is done for you. In this case, example 2 is a linear function, 3x minus 5. Then the steps. You may pause this video for you to internalize. I don't need to discuss it one by one because I'm so excited for you and me that we have to move on to exercise number 1 to 5. And for exercise 1, find the inverse of the given functions. So let's start with the first function. It's a linear function similar to example 1. Then we have f of x equals x minus 8. For the solution, here, we have to write it in the form y equals f of x. In this case, y equals x minus 8. Then interchanging or writing x equals y and y equals x, or interchange x and y. So the y becomes x, the x becomes y. And we have to isolate y. So since we have negative 8 here, to eliminate negative 8, we have to add. So negative 8 plus 8 here, this becomes 0. So we have x plus 8 on the left side, leaving the right hand side y. Then we just swap by the reflexive property of equality. A equals b is also equivalent to b equals a. Then we have y equals x plus 8. And finally, instead of writing y, we have to write f inverse of x equals x plus 8. Therefore, given function f of x equals x minus a, its inverse is x plus 8. Moving on to number 2, still linear function f of x equals x plus 6. Solution, it's so easy. Write in the form y equals f of x, then interchange x and y, and solve y in terms of x, and swapping means we have to write y equals x minus 6. Then finally, the inverse of the function x plus 6 is x minus 6. Number 3, we have here a linear monomial function f of x equals 6x. Simple function, let's go over this. So writing y equals 6x, then interchanging x and y, then we have to solve for y. In this case, we have 6y equals x, and dividing both sides of the equality by, or the equation, by 6, we have 6y over 6 is equal to x over 6. Finally, y equals x over 6, and f inverse of x equals x over 6. Number 4, we have f of x equals 2x plus 4. Solution, writing y equals 2x plus 4, then interchanging or x and y variables here, x equals 2y plus 4, then solving y in terms of x, we have to transpose positive 4 on the left hand side, leaving 2y here. So let's have 2y equals x minus 4. Dividing both sides of the equation by 2, we have y equals x minus 4 all over 2. And rewriting with the notation f inverse of x. So the inverse of the function f of x is x minus 4 all over 2. Moving on, finally, to number 5. F of x equals 3x minus 1. We have to write y equals 3x minus 1. Then, instead of writing y, make it x, and x here, make it y. Then, transpose 1 on this side, that becomes plus 1. So we have x plus 1 equals 3y. Then we have it here, 3y equals x plus 1. Dividing both sides of the equation by 3 becomes y equals x plus 1 all over 3. So f inverse of x equals x plus 1 all over 3. Moving on to example 3, we have a more complicated expression than examples 1 and 2. So find the inverse of f of x equals 5x over x minus 3. This time we have a rational function. Rational in the sense that we have the numerator and the denominator. For the solution, we follow the steps. So we have to write in the form y equals f of x. So we have it here, y equals 5x all over x minus 3. Then we have to interchange. You write x instead of y. Then we have 5x, that becomes 5y. Then x minus 3 becomes y minus 3. Interchanging x and y. And then finally, it's not yet. Step before the final step, we have solving for y in terms of x. So let me go back here. Okay, here. Since x equals 5y over y minus 3, we have to cross multiply. So we have x times the quantity y minus 3 equals 5y to eliminate fraction. Okay, then distributing x on this factor, we have xy minus 3x equals 5y, and collecting the values or the variables with y, we have xy, then minus 5y, then isolate the x on the left right hand side, that's equal to 3x. Then factoring out y, we are solving y in terms of x, or isolate y. Then y times the quantity x minus 5 equals 3x. Then we have to divide both sides of the equation by x minus 5. So this one cancels out. What becomes now is y. Then we have equals 3x all over x minus 5. Then finally, instead of writing y, we have to write f inverse of x. Therefore, the inverse of the given function is f inverse of x equals 3x all over x minus 5. We move on to exercise number 2. We have to find the inverse of the following functions. Number 1, f of x equals 5 over x. For the solution, okay, we have to write f of x equals x over 5, then writing it in the form of y equals f of x, interchanging x and y, then solving for y in terms of x. We have found that f inverse of x is equal to f of x. So meaning the given function is equal to its inverse, or the function f of x and its inverse f inverse of x are equal. Okay. Next, number 2, f of x equals x plus 1 all over 4x. For the solution, we have to write y equals x plus 1 all over 4x here. Then interchange, that becomes x equals y plus 1 all over 4y. Then solving for y, we have cross multiplying, we have 4xy equals y plus 1. Then collecting the terms on the left hand side with all the y variables. So that becomes 4xy minus y equals 1. And factoring out the left hand side, that becomes y times the quantity 4x minus 1 equals 1. And finally, dividing both sides by 4x minus 1. So we have y equals 1 over 4x minus 1. Rewriting function or f inverse of x equals 1 over 4x minus 1. Moving on to the function number 3. F of x is equal to x minus 2 all over 4. Solution, rewriting y equals x minus 2 all over 4, interchanging x and y. We have x equals y minus 2 all over 4. Then, cross multiplying, that becomes 4x equals y minus 2. And collecting the terms or isolating y here. So we have 4x, then plus 2 equals y. Rewriting y equals 4x plus 2. And finally, substituting y with f inverse of x equals 4x plus 2. And we're done with number 3. Moving on to number 4. We have f of x equals 3 over x plus 2. Rewriting y equals 3 over x plus 2. Interchanging x and y, we have 3x equals 3 over y plus 2. Then cross multiplying, we have x times quantity y plus 2 equals 3. And distributing x here, that becomes xy plus 2x equals 3. And we have to isolate y. So we have xy equals 3 minus 2x, and divide both sides by x. That becomes y equals 3 minus 2x all over x. And this is a rewriting. I missed some. This must be f inverse of x equals 3 over x, then minus, why is it 2? Because 2x divided by x will cancel out. Final answer must be, I'm not sure if, hi guys, so it's possible for me to do it like this. So we have to change it into f inverse of x equals, let me have it here to make it fit. Okay, so the final answer for this number is that f inverse of x equals 3 over x minus 2. Moving on to number 5. F of x equals x minus 5 all over x, 2x plus 3. Then we have here, for the solution, that becomes now y equals 2x minus 5 all over 2x plus 3. Interchanging or writing x instead of y, then you write y instead of x, we have here. Then cross multiplying, we have x times quantity 2x plus 3 equals y minus 5. Then distributing x, we have 2xy plus 3x equals y minus 5. Then collecting y on the right hand side, that means we have 2xy minus y. Then transposing 3x on the right hand side, that is negative 3x, then copy minus 5. Then we have solving y in terms of x. In this case, we have to isolate y. So we have y times the quantity 2x minus 1, factoring out y, equals, we just copy the right hand side. Then dividing both sides by 2x minus 1, we have y equals negative 3x minus 5 all over 2x minus 1. And finally, let me delete this space here. Another delete. Finally, we have f inverse of x equals negative 3x minus 5 all over 2x minus 1. And this concludes our exercise for this topic or learning activity sheet. And again, this is Teacher Marichu saying always stay happy, healthy, and safe. God bless.